and welcome back to the Sideline Report. I'm your host, Terry Raper, here bringing you your digital dose of streaming sports right here on the Sideline Report. And we have some big news for you this week as section play begins. But before we get into that, we'll get into some Division II college football to start with. Right now, we have Right now, we start out with the Winonna State Warriors taking on the Wayne State Wildcats. The Wayne State Wildcats travel to Winonna State this weekend, and the Winonna State Warriors football team improved to 3-3 with a home win, 21-14, over the Wildcats. The Warriors are 3-0 at home. The Warriors jumped in front with a big second quarter, going into the half 14-0. Winonna State played well defensively and offensively. They paired three key takeaways with 0 turnovers. A major difference maker in this game was that they outgained 381 yards to 178 for the Warriors versus the Wildcats. Quarterback Jason Flottmeyer was 15 for 30 passing for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding another 48 yards on the ground with another score. True freshman Nolan Ginsky, a former KTTC Gameday player for the Owatonna Huskies, was the leading receiver. He had 6 catches for 60 yards. Another former KTTC Gameday player, a Stewartville Tiger, redshirt freshman linebacker Caleb Jansen, logged his first interception of his collegiate career for Winonna State. Big games for the former KTTC Gameday players right out of the area. The Warriors travel to Minnesota State University-Mankato next week to take on the Mavericks. Kickoff will be Saturday at 1 p.m. Speaking of Minnesota State University-Mankato, we get into some women's hockey action. The Mavericks stay unbeaten with a 3-2 victory over Lindenwood, completing a weekend sweep. Lauren Goldsworthy opened the scoring on the first period power play before Mercury Bischoff and Michaela Moran added goals to pace the Mavericks. Moran's third period tally proved to be the game winner, her first of the season. Over the weekend, 8 different players registered points in the win, while goaltender Cadence Roski made her debut with key stops late. The Mavericks improved to 4-0 and now turn their attention to WCHA play against St. Thomas next weekend. Next, we'll stay with Mankato State University, or Minnesota State University-Mankato, but get into a little volleyball action here. The Minnesota State volleyball team picked up its biggest win of the season, outlasting number 12 Southwest Minnesota State in 5 sets at home. The Mavericks took the opener 25-19 before the Mustangs evened the match in the second. After trading 2 sets, the Mavericks pulled through with a 15-11 victory in the 5th. Emily Kern led the Mavericks with 16 kills, while Avery Rosenberg added 14 respectively. Setter Jaden Lester filled the stat sheet with 48 assists, 16 digs, and 6 blocks to pace Minnesota State Mankato in the upset win. Next, we're going to move it to high school. We'll get into some high school tennis action here as the number 2 Century Panthers take on the number 7 Farmington Tigers in Section 3A quarterfinal action here. The Century Panthers take the sweep 7-0 against the Tigers, which advanced them to the semifinal round play last Thursday, where they beat out the number 3 ranked Owatonna Huskies to advance to the section finals. And then that brings us to another 3A section quarterfinals match where the number 5 John Marshall Rockets took on the top-ranked Mayo Spartans. And in this one, the Mayo Spartans swept the Rockets after earning a first-round bye in the tournament. The Mayo Spartans beat out the John Marshall Rockets in the semifinal round 7-0. With that being said, that leads us to the section championship for the girls 3A. For the section 3A girls section tournament, that brings us to a crosstown rivalry like none other. The number 2 Century Panthers will take on the number 1 Mayo Spartans this Tuesday for the section championship. This Tuesday, October 7th at Lifetime Fitness in Bloomington. The winning team will advance to the Class 3A state tournament, which will take place October 21st through the 24th. So all you Century Panthers and Mayo Spartans can travel this Tuesday to Lifetime Fitness in Bloomington to support your respective teams, because either way we have a Rochester team heading to the state tournament. Keeping it in the high school action, but now moving it to some soccer, we have the boys soccer matchup between the Century Panthers and the John Marshall Rockets. And this was the season finale for both teams, and it ended in a draw. Both teams in their 2025 boys soccer regular season in a 0-0 draw. A hard-fought defensive matchup for both teams, but don't worry, they will be seeing each other in the section tournament. Speaking of section tournaments, the section tournament brackets have been released, and I'll bring that to you right now. Starting with the 1A section tournament bracket here. Boys section tournament, this will be the road to state for the area teams. In Section 1A, tournament action begins tonight, and in Section 2A and 3A, that tournament action begins Tuesday. But right now for the 1A section tournament here, bracket, we have number 1 Stewartville with the bye. They'll take on the winners of number 8 and number 9 PEM and Red Wing. Next up, number 4 St. Charles will take on number 5 La Crescent Hoka. The number 3 Cotter will have a bye week, and they will face the winner between number 6 Lake City and number 11 Caledonia. Number 2 Lords also coming in with the bye week. They'll take the winner between number 7 Schaefer Academy and number 10 Dover Iota. In Section 2A, we have number 1 Faribault taking on number 8 Waseca, number 4 PIZM taking on number 5 Winona, number 3 Austin Packers taking on number 6 Casson Manorville Comets, and then number 2 Northfield taking on number 7 Byron. And then in the 3A action, number 1 seeded Mayo Spartans taking on the number 8 Farmington Tigers, number 4 Lakeville North taking on number 5 Lakeville South, number 3 Century Panthers taking on the number 6 Owatonna Huskies. Number 2 John Marshall taking on number 7 New Prague. Staying with some soccer action, but moving on to the girls' side, we have the John Marshall Rockets taking on their crosstown rival, the Century Panthers. The John Marshall Rockets ended up scoring early, getting the first goal from Anna Rognes, but it was all Century from then on out with goals from Michaela Klein, Ava Perry, and Sydney Bowman. The Century Panthers walk away with the victory in their season finale 6-1, and the Panthers finished the regular season 10-1-4 to take home the Big 9 Conference championship. So the Century Panthers will go into the section tournament holding that Big 9 Conference Championship trophy. So we'll get into the section tournament brackets for the girls' side. For the 1A section tournament brackets, or section 1A tournament, Red Wing will take on Lake City tonight, October 6th, in the quarterfinal round. The semifinals will be October 8th, and the Saturday, October 11th, will be the section. I'm sorry, quarterfinals will be the 8th, semifinals will be Saturday the 11th, and the section championships will be Tuesday, October 14th. So the Red Wing and Lake City will play tonight, and that winner of that game will take on the number 1 seeded Lords. Number 4 seeded St. Charles will take on number 5 Dover Iota. Number 3 Cotter will take on number 6 PEM, and number 2 La Crescent Hoka will take on number 7 Caledonia. In section 2A bracket, the number 1 Byron Bears will take on number 8 PIZM. Number 4 Northville will take on number 5 Fairbolt. Number 3 Winona will take on number 6 Austin, and number 2 Casson Manorville will take on Waseca. The 1-2A tournament bracket quarterfinal round is tomorrow, Tuesday, October 7th, being hosted by High Seed. And the semifinal round will be Thursday, October 9th, hosting its High Seed. And the section championships will be next Tuesday at Paul Guile Field in Winona. And then moving on to the 3A bracket, we have number 1 Lakeville North taking on number 8 John Marshall. Number 4, the Mayo Spartans will take on number 5 Owatonna Huskies. Number 3, Farmington will take on number 6 New Prague. And then number 2, Century will take on number 7 Lakeville South. The girls' section 3A tournament bracket, the quarterfinal round will be played tomorrow, Tuesday, October 7th, with High Seed hosting. The semifinal round will be Thursday, October 9th, High Seed hosting again in the section championship. Tuesday will be next Tuesday, October 14th, hosted by High Seed once again. Now that we got the high school soccer action out of the way, we'll get into some high school football action as we recap last week's game, or last week's KTTC Game Day game of the week between this crosstown rivals, the John Marshall Rockets and the Mayo Spartans, for that all-coveted Addington Jug. This one was a great matchup, and that's not to say the least, because we've had some great matchups here on KTTC Game Day if you haven't got a chance to check them out. But this one was a great one. It was a great game from start to finish. Both teams came in understanding the importance of this contest. First time playing their crosstown rivals in 2 years. For the return of the Addington Jug, Mayo entered this as the heavy favorites, but it didn't seem that way for most of the game for the Rockets. Mayo started off the game scoring in the first 2 plays of the game with a huge pass from Peterson to Wernenberg to put them in position for Xavier Adams to get his first rushing touchdown of the game. But the Rockets quickly answered with a huge run from Arsene Lukong, finding his way into the end zone. And after that opening drive, the Spartans went scoreless for the next 2 quarters as the Rockets found the end zone 2 more times. And it looked as if the Rockets were actually going to upset the Spartans until a late 4th quarter push from Mayo. After being up 26-21 with 2 minutes left in the game, the Rockets threw a late game interception on their own goal line with just enough time for Isaac Peterson to lead a 2-minute drill for 98 yards to cap it off with a play of the week touchdown pass to Gavin Wernenberg. The Rockets tried to rally one more time with 10 seconds left in the game, but it was not enough. A pick 6 interception in the final seconds sealed the Rockets' fate, and the Spartans walked away with the Addington Jug for another year. It was a tough loss for the Rockets as Coach Ricketts said earlier in the prep preview, they have to play complete football if they want to take home the victory. In that game, they just couldn't close it out, and the Spartans walked away with the Addington Jug for another year. And this week, we have another KTTC Game Day matchup for the ages. We have the number 1 Byron Bears taking on the number 7 Stewartville Tigers. Now, this will be a game day matchup for the ages. Not only is it the KTTC game day game of the week, where we'll be airing it this Friday on KTTC Game Days, KTTC Extra live stream, and the North Star Sports and Entertainment Network, but this just might be the game of the season, because this one will be a barn burner. The Byron Bears come into this game as one of the last 5 undefeated teams in the area. The defending state champions, Stewartville Tigers, come into this highly anticipated matchup with only 1 loss under their belt to the Casson-Manorville Comets, which we aired right here on KTTC Game Day in week 3. And that one came down to the last seconds of the game, literally when the Tigers fell to the Comets 21-18. Now, Casson-Manorville would remain undefeated until last week, losing when the 2 undefeated teams, the Casson-Manorville Comets and the Byron Bears, met up last week. That one was a huge game, but the Comets ended up falling to the Bears 34-20. So as the Tigers fell to the Comets in week 3, the Byrons outplayed the Comets last week, winning that game 34-20. Now, this will be a tough game for the Tigers, as they will have to play extremely good defense against these Byron Bears, because these Bears have a really high-powered offense. They've been averaging 42 points a game this season. So expect this game this week between the Bears and the Tigers to be one of the best games that you would ever want to see. And you can watch it right here on KTTC Game Day this Friday at 7 p.m. And that will do it for us on the Sideline Report. That'll do it for us on the Sideline Report. I've been your host, Terry Raper. Make sure you tune in every 11 a.m. right here on the KTTC Extra live stream, where I'll be bringing you the recaps of all the scores from previous weeks and the previews of the upcoming games, from soccer, volleyball to football, and as many as I can fit in the time span that we have. But as I said, make sure you guys tune in this Friday to the KTTC Extra live stream at 7 p.m. as the Byron Bears take on the Stewartville Tigers in this week's KTTC Game Day matchup of the week. That'll be 7 p.m. this Friday. You can watch it here on the KTTC Extra live stream or on the North Star Sports and Entertainment Network. And that's all, folks. That's all I have for you this week. I am Terry Raper, signing off with the Sideline Report.